Winter workout season is always all kinds of stuff leaking, so we'll dive into that and more here on the Sooner or Later Sports Show, a Hog Media production presented by Sleeper. That's Coop. I'm Jay. Thanks for pulling up here on the YouTube channel and listening wherever podcasts are downloaded and listened to while you're here. Please wipe your feet, like, subscribe, rate, review. Give us 5 stars. You don't think we deserve it? Go ahead and give us 5 anyway and gift it. So, on today's episode, here in the off season, as all things are really quiet, but some things are going good. We're going to talk about the Shrine Bowl. We're seeing some Sooners out there really showing out. We're going to talk about the new AD. He speaks out. We'll talk about the Board of Regents meeting coming up tomorrow and new contracts. There could be some staff changes, could be some staff adjustments. I don't know, but all I know is we'll figure out a lot of that information coming very soon. Coop, happy Wednesday, my guy. How's it going?
You still got snow out there?
Yeah, it's slush.
Slush?
I can still make snowballs.
Yeah, pretty good stuff. I think my kids have been off. Just got word that my son, Broken Arrow's not going to school tomorrow either.
Oh, word.
So he's been. It'll be silly to put him back in school on Friday, but it is what it is.
Right. Yeah, no, I got the call from the schools here in Middale. They're driving around and trying to make sure that the streets are not only safe, but the weather is safe enough for kids to stand on the corners for the buses. And they're like, we're going to try it in the morning. Since the temperatures will be in the teens again, that's when they'll be able to determine if school's going to be ready. So kid gets to wake up and watch or wait for their phone to go off like we used to watch the NBA ticker, the NBA draft ticker in the mornings. He'll get to just waiting for his phone to go off and let him know that, yes, you will be going to school. I'll probably be up.
Days.
I wish I would have gotten a message the night before and I could have just, slept in. But no, we exactly. No, I was always high stress, and determine if I need to bundle up a lot and run to the bus stop, or if I had an opportunity to dismantle everything and get back in the bed. But he didn't got to deal with that. It's we get a message, there's no school. So fascinating, if anything. But no, there's a lot of stuff for us to get into. Senior Bowl's a great topic. Winter workout, all of those rumors are flying down the line. Kids that are showing up and showing out. So we got to jump into a lot of that. Coop, where do you think we should start?
I mean, now that the season's over, completely over, now it's for the momentum talk, right? This is where you start hearing this guy showed up heavier than we expected. This guy showed up, with good weight. This guy showed up, and now he's testing out the gym. So let's start there, because we've heard a couple of good pieces, and that's what season we're in, is winter workout season.
It is. That's all it is. So yeah, let's jump right into that. Thank you all for pulling up. Hit that like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review. If you want to catch us on the audio version only, definitely download us. Apple, Spotify, you name it. We exist. Search Sooner or Later Sports Show as the picture is on the screen. All right, who's the one? There's been a few players that have been getting some really good reviews. I've gotten some messages. I know you have as well. We talked about some in the Cord. We've seen them on the socials. Let's start with the portal guys. It appears that Kenny Ozuwalu might be a dude. And I think that's the one person you pointed out when we were talking about portal players and who we want to be impactful. Sounds like he's coming in at a very nice weight. He'll be able to play the G-Baby role while being like 2 or 3 inches taller.
Yeah.
And red shop as a redshirt freshman. It sounds like he has capabilities of doing that.
I mean, we heard somewhere in the 280, 285, range for the weight. They say that, he's right there. He has the opportunity to play some at edge, play some in the inside. And, Brent Venables wants to be multiple. He wants to have a lot of great things up his sleeve, as any, great defensive coordinator wants to have. And I think he's going to be a mismatch nightmare for, on stunts and twists. I brought up the fact that, we like to run zone blitzes at times to where we drop one of the edges into coverage. And it's sounds like he is doing his part. So you get him in here with, Bates and Chavis, Brent Venables, get him up to speed on the playbook. And he's one of those guys, kind of like with Kendall Daniels, that you look at and you're just like, okay, there's a lot of cool stuff we can do with him. And, like you said, losing G Baby, we'll talk about him later. He's obviously pretty good.
Yeah.
As he's showing out in the Senior Bowl. But I think that it's going to be, sky's the limit. Don't want to get too crazy too early because he hasn't played a snap. Right. But like I said, UTSA, they've had some really, really good guys come off their defensive line and transfer into bigger schools and make impact.
Is there's a coach that I'm not gonna fully doubt on a young player that has potential and that does move up? It's gonna be was the Coach Traylor down there at UTSA. He seems to do a really good job of finding diamonds in the rough and all of that. And I'll show the picture up here of Kenny right here. He's a big dude. That's we know this. And if he can come in and be a contributor to this defensive line this early, that's a big deal. And like I said, he ain't a little guy. He's pretty big.
No.
And I have an appreciation for guys that are ginormous like that.
Yeah, and you needed the depth, right? We saw a lot of names coming through for in the transfer portal. There wasn't a great selection of defensive line guys.
Not that many.
Made the comment that if Stone or Jackson would have hit the portal, they would have been the number one defensive lineman in the portal. So you bring him in as your goal is to hope that he can be in that 3-4, the guys coming in. And so you bring in a guy like this, you've got the development of guys like Nigel Smith, and you're going to want to see a push from the young guys to go, okay, well, I thought I was about to be the number 3. I got to push harder. So you bring that, competitive depth, and that's what happens. These guys are going to get stronger. You don't expect David Stone and Jaden Jackson just to play every single snap at defensive tackle and at 100% even. So you're going to need that. You're going to need the thick guys down low to continue to do what the defense really wants to do.
Especially if you can get something that can grow. That appears that they have the ability to potentially grow and be a part of what we're doing. But he seems to be well known, and that's what really matters, is that he's got the skill set that we're looking for, and he's an overall quote unquote terrorist down there. So Ozuwalu's one name I know that we're hearing a lot about. Somebody pointed this out in here in the chat, and Sean, you're 100% correct, because I said the same thing. This is the dude I've been talking about on the offensive side of the ball, Jonathan Hatton. Supposedly Hatton walked in. He is 220, like he's more than 220, I think, just a little bit over. Yeah. And rumor has it he is everything as advertised. Him. And one that is a little bit surprising, but not really that surprising, is DeSephon Walker, the other running back. It sounds like he's also out there impressing everybody. Makes sense, right? That's kind of reason why the team stuck with him and was thinking about adding an additional like running back to go to this room, but they stuck with Walker, and I see why. Sounds like he's out there lighting it up.
Yeah. When you get, when Bob Stoops makes a comparison to Adrian Peterson, you kind of want to stop and listen.
Yes.
And if you remember, it was Kejuan Jones, starting off the season, and you just, every single time you saw AD carry the ball, you were like, okay, as soon as he the game slows down a tad bit for him, he's going to take off. I mean, the guy ran for 1,800 yards his freshman year, so that's a lofty comparison. But with Hatton, he will truck you. He's fast. He's quick. He's got great vision. So I go back to saying this is like it's what does the offensive line do? Do those guys make it available for a freak of nature like Jonathan Hatton, and also the other guys? This running back room is going to be much better than it was, I think, when AD came in, because dude was so good. He pushed Tashard Choice, if I'm not mistaken, he pushed him out. I think you had DJ Wolf also come in, and he converted to a safety because he couldn't get on the field, and so I'm pretty excited. Yeah, DJ Wolf was, I think, was one of the top 2 or 3 guys in Oklahoma. He was very, very highly recruited guy and highly rated guy. So this is the excitement time, right? It's all talk. Nobody's ever said anything about winning the national championship, but this is a season to where you've got that in your grasp. Those are your ambitions, is national championship. It's playoffs or bust. I think you don't make the playoffs, it's disappointment, but you've got some opportunity. And with potentially playing a 16-game season, if you can have 5 or 6 running backs that can contribute, that's what you're going to want. And I don't think that we're going to be running 5 or 6 guys out there, but to have, Avant, to have X-Rob, Blaylock, and Hatton kind of ready to go. Zephan Walker comes in if he needs. Again, going back to the blow guys out early, those early games that you play, and let some of the young kids get out there and have some fun.
That's the one thing that's going to help, is having multiple running backs that can play and that's ready to play. That's going to be the game changer right there, right?
Yeah. Oh, bless you.
Excuse me.
Bless you,
Thank
sir.
you. Allergies over here kicking my tail. But yeah, having multiple backs is going to be important, right? Like Torrey Blaylock was dealing with some injury, so was X-Rob. Barnes was preparing to transfer, so you didn't want to burn his red shirt, and I just never materialized. So yeah, you kind of was limited in the run game. But this year, a lot of players have been in the system a year. They should have a better understanding of assignments and chemistry and all of that. But then you could bring in 2 other dudes. You can just hand the ball and say, "Hey, go, hit the hole," and you're gone. You need to have about 4 dudes you could rotate just in case. That's a great point, True Okie. That's what you like. That's what we'll actually see. And I think the offense will look much better because of that. So I'm not complaining there. Outside of that, portal guys, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say Cole Sullivan. Heard some really, really good stuff. He has got the Danny Stutzman type of mentality, first in, last out type of a deal. Yep. This is a guy who wants to come in, and he knows. Listen, I think Michigan could probably, their hopes are probably to get to the playoffs this year. But you leave that situation and you come here and you're talking to the team, hey, we just made the playoffs. We need this defense to take a step up. I saw a question. Do we think the defense is going to be as good as it was this year? I think the defense can be better this year.
So I know I talked about this before. Of course, some people didn't want to believe me in stating this, but I made mention that I believed that our defense this past season, before the season started, was going to be better statistically than the year before, because we were going to have a competent enough offense to elevate their play. What happened, Coop? I'm patting myself on the back, y'all, just as an FYI. I'm 100% patting myself on the back, because that's exactly what happened. When you got that competent offense, some of y'all don't want to believe that was competent. It was a hell of a lot better for the most part than it was last year. You still had limitations in the run game, which when you ain't got running backs, it's kind of tough to do that, especially if they're dealing with injuries. But when they were healthier, you got 100 from X-Rob twice. You got 100 from Blaylock twice. You started to you had something. You had potential, but John figured out him and Arbuckle had to figure out how to make it work, and they did enough. And the defense was statistically better. Can it be better next season? Yes. The offense should be better, which will move it up from the 50s to the 20s or 30s. If you can get in the 30s, the defense will stay exact same or slightly better. The big difference you're getting this year is I think we did upgrade in the linebacker room. We just don't have the same depth, like the rotations. Yeah. Now, granted, we don't know what Nesta's going to look like. And I've heard good things about Nesta from practices that he's picking things up. Like he's probably ready to go out there and take a starting role, but he doesn't need to this year. That's the beauty of it. Still got Kip. You bring in Cole Sullivan. Kip leaves. Nesta moves in. Marcus James walks behind him. The other young linebackers come right behind them. That's what you're hoping for. And so you'll have a Nesta and Sullivan linebacker room in 2027. And that's why Cole came here. He came here for the development piece of playing linebacker for Brent Venables. Like, he could have easily went back to Michigan, and he was going to start next year. But he decided that he wanted to go where he felt like he could be developed a little bit more. There you go. So I see the defense maintaining where it's at. It's either going to move up 1 or 2 spots or down 1 or 2 spots, but I don't think it leaves out of the top 10 next season, especially with the way the schedule is lined up.
Yeah, and we'll get into that more and more down the road just because we want to hear what do the other teams look like. But I mean, you've got a lot of new quarterbacks, not a lot of new coaches on the schedule. Just kind of like we saw this past year, kind of how the schedule breaks out. Like I think that it's not as intense as a lot of people kind of thought it was, but you've got a lot of young. I mean, Sean just posted, in the last comment, Jacob Curry. Jacob Curry was a guy that like OU was really, really, really intense about bringing here. This guy's out there, and he is going to he's going to want to say, hey, listen, I saw what you did with Cortland Guillory. I saw what you did with Eli Bowen, last year. Like, I would love to play as a freshman. And that's the big beauty about bringing in, the younger talents to go with some of the transfer portal stuff, because it's a very, very fine-tuned dance that you got to do when you're bringing in transfer portal guys mixed with recruiting class, because sometimes you could potentially scare off a freshman who you want to develop quickly. And, with a transfer portal signee. So, you got a linebacker room that's got a lot of younger guys and a lot of guys who I think have a very, very high ceiling. Let's see what happens. Because, I got to think that your front line of David Stone with another year. David Stone, I think you could argue, was the best defensive lineman on the team, interior guy. Jaden dealt with a lot of injuries this past year, so you want to see if we can get some rotations there. But I think that defensive line is probably going to be a little bit better this year. We'll see how deep it is, because if Ozawalu, makes his jump, some of the younger guys, can contribute also, then you're right back there. You got to think that Guillory and Bowen are going to make a jump too. And Bowen being healthy the entire time, that's going to be a big piece. What happens to the safeties, what happens to the linebackers? I think that's your 2 spots, is if the ceiling of the linebackers and safeties elevates, then yeah, this defense can go up. And Jay, pat yourself on the back, because with a competent offense, you don't have the defense running out there after 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. So if you can put together an offense that really minimizes the 3 and outs, and we continue to use special teams like we did this past year, where you're making teams go, 80 yards plus on drives because Miller's coming back, the punter. So I think that's there's a lot of good vibes that you could have, and there's some other teams out there that are going, we don't know who's starting on the offensive line, we don't know who's going to be starting at defensive line. Like, we're not in that spot.
Not at all. That's the good thing about the way the defense. Like, if I was being honest, I was concerned about 2027. Like when I started really looking ahead, and I had a video I was putting together, I was going to go through and talk about, but then I went through my initial depth chart and players in there. I'm gonna put it back on the screen. We talked about this before, and to kind of answer this comment here that Sean dropped in here, yeah, Jacob Curry. It sounds like he's out there hitting them drills. Like his athleticism is pretty ridiculous, and it's up there with ET. Now the question is similar to what we had with ET was, can you get the playbook down, and can you play within the flow of the defense or the offense? That is what's most important. A lot of people don't recognize that part. Yeah, you can be fast at getting to the point and just be super quick, but how do you work when others have to rely on you to be in the right spot on a consistent basis? That's what I mean by the flow. And so that's why some players didn't play. Staff didn't feel like they were good. They were ready in the flow of the offense. Not they weren't talented overall, but being in the flow sometimes is also as important as talent. So with that, like I said, 2027 was when I was a little concerned, but then I looked at the roster, right? Like this is the roster. I made this. Y'all have seen this before. We talked about it. I haven't updated it. I'm going to update it soon, but looking at this, you only see 5 transfers that's possibly going to start. And it's really the positions we needed some help at. Wide receiver, tight ends, possibly on the line, like Marion Harris could start, but Ryan Fauger could as well. But defensively, it's only Cole Sullivan. That's it. That makes your boy pretty happy to see that we are returning that. And then so when I was talking about 27 and how that was the year I was a little concerned about, brother, when I looked at the players, I'm like, wait a minute, a lot of these dudes can come back. Like you only lose off of this defense Peyton Bowen and Kip Lewis.
Guaranteed, yeah.
That's it. Guaranteed. It's the only ones I guaranteed to leave. Others could leave early, go pro, opportunity, but you're still and PJ. PJ is technically will be a senior as well. Yeah, that's it. And I feel like our backload of people are just fine. I think we are good there with the rest of these players. I'm not as concerned as I was. But like you said, going to the offensive side, Marion Harris, I've heard that he's been testing well. Sounds like he's pretty good. Actually, Jimmy, I think Stone and Jaden Jackson may end up being first round potentials. I've actually heard, I think Cole Keelik said that. He think that they could potentially 2 dudes off on the first round next year. And if both of them go, we'll be riding with Bishop and we'll be riding with Kenny Ozawalu. You'll be pushing some of them dudes up. But besides that, the O-line brings back just our players, starts from last season, 2,600 snaps, which is pretty darn good. That is Heath Ozaida, Jake Michaela, Ryan Fauger, Fasusi, EPO. I think we're like fifth. We're in the top 10 in the country in returning snaps overall with over 6,000. Probably one of the more experienced lines we've had since 2023.
Yeah.
And these guys are still young. I'm not upset with that whatsoever. That makes me happy. But besides that, Trell, I guess, is of course, he's testing well. Same thing with Parker Livingstone. You knew he would. And, of course, Mateer's doing his leadership thing. And somebody made the comment in here, they don't trust Mateer. I totally understand. After that injury, he was struggling. But he was averaging over 250 yards a game before he got hurt. That's against Michigan, who had a top 15 defense at the end of the season. Same thing with in Auburn, who had like a top 20 defense. He played good against those games. When he got back healthy, when he started to look healthier at the end of the year, he's throwing for 300 yards against defenses you're not supposed to throw 300 yards against. So, that being said, a summer of rest, a summer of healing, and a summer of throwing with his receivers, he'll probably look like the Michigan version at the beginning of the year once again. Now, he's still got to work on his vision. Not going to disagree there. Needs to make sure he doesn't have happy feet. But I think an experienced offensive line also will help with not feeling like you've got to hurry up and do anything. You can take your time, read your progressions, because he looked like that initially in that Bama game. He was reading his progressions. He was taking his time, hitting dudes wide open, even late in the game. He looked good. Then there's moments that the blocking had some struggles, and he struggled. So I expect a better version next season. So I'm not gonna feel like that he's gonna regress. Or hell, if he gives us what he gave us at the beginning of the year, 250 yards a game, if he averages that, that's 3,000 yards passing in the season, Coop. That's good.
I mean, you saw at the end of the season. I mean, the LSU game, he's throwing for. I mean, the interceptions and the turnovers kind of hit the last two games, right? So you got to, but it's got to be the head. And I think that being further away from the hands, I can promise you that at some point in the next, between now and SEC Media Days, there's probably going to be a story that comes out about how he was not right mentally after the hand.
I can see that.
But
makes sense.
I also think that you get him a little bit further out of there. I think that as he sees the offense start to kind of form around himself, he's probably going to realize it's not all on him, and he can just be free to play, right? So we'll see. I mean, yeah, if you've got doubts on Mateer, sure. I mean, I think that we all still think about what the quarterback play looks like when we had a Caleb Williams, when we had, even Spencer Rattler, like those offenses, Dylan Gabriel, like those offenses were disappointing when they were happening because Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and you're back to in those times you had so much pro talent out there. You had a great tight end in Mark Andrews. You had carryover to Calcaterra. Like you need a lot of opportunity you got to have a lot of luck with the health. And so it's not like our offensive line stocked full of like 2 and 3 stars that, we're hoping continue to grow. Like these are 4 and 5 star guys that, are going to continue to grow and to get better and get stronger. And we're going to be relying on guys that just don't show up because they're hurt all the time.
Yeah, that's the goal. We need players that are going to be healthy and ready to play. So, good questions in here. We're going to jump into some of these questions, and then we're going to talk some Senior Bowl stuff, and then we're going to talk staff changes because I think that there's a possibility for staff changes. There's rumors floating around all the social medias. Before we do that, though, before we keep going, let's talk about our partners over there at Sleeper, our presenting sponsor for the channel. We have to give them a shout out. If you have not checked them out for Daily Fantasy Ball, you are missing out. They're more than just season-long fantasy, and they've got some great promos and options. Like right now, if you use our promo code UNFAIR, they're gonna give you $20 just for signing up. And if you decide to make a deposit, use our promo code, they're gonna match your deposit at 100% up to $100. And so all you do is go inside of the app, pick 2 or more players, pick more or less on their stats, and boom, you are in the game, and you can make up to 1,000 times your money. So turning those game days into paydays. Also, inside the app, cool stuff. They show you live stats. You've got a chat function so you can chop it up with folks about the biggest plays and the biggest players at the time. So if you want to get into the action, you have the opportunity. Use our promo code UNFAIR. They're going to match your deposit at 100% up to $100. And new users, $20 just for signing up. No deposit is needed, so doesn't hurt to try. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit that like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. Please make sure that you also check out our partners over there at Sleeper. Coop almost won some money. He was close. He won some money, and he almost won even more.
Did win.
He just didn't hit that final one. But hey, next time, guys. Next time. All right. You had some really good questions in here. I'm going to start playing them. Give me a second. I want to get some footage pulled up because I know y'all are really excited about how some of these Sooners are performing at the Senior Bowl. So we'll talk about that. But first off, some of the questions. TJ Hamilton asked the question, is Bishop a red shirt senior? So Bishop Thomas, is he a red shirt senior? If I'm correct, he will be a red shirt senior. And so that means he'll have one more year to truly contribute. I think it's only 1 year. Let me verify, though. He was at the Georgia State spot. Let me grab him. There he is.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of updated rosters.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet. We're still waiting to get word on what. We'll see with the roster after winter workouts. If I'm correct, I thought he was a redshirt junior. And I think he'll have like 2 additional years to play. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. Next question is, what's the verdict on the offensive tackle, the one that came out of the portal, which is Marion Harris? We talked about him. Think he's going to be solid. I don't know if he starts yet, though. That's probably the biggest question I have, is I don't know if he's a starter yet. Coop, what you think? I know a lot of people think that he's going to end up winning the right tackle spot because he has 24 games of experience and a lot of snaps, like 1,400 plus snaps. But do you think that he ends up a starter over Fogier and you move Fogier inside? I don't know.
I think those two are going to be battling for that right side. And if anybody else wants to throw their hat in the ring, a Heath Ozida, somebody like that, that's what's going to be on the table. His tweet, and it sounds like what the coach staff told him, was that he would be starting at tackle, but he does have snaps at both right guard and right tackle. So you probably run that out there, and Fogier can play both. That he can play both. So they're going to fight it out, and whoever's the best fit. Because I would love to go through a season without seeing, guys play 3 or 4 different positions along the offensive line. I'd rather just see you start 5 and, God willing, have the 5 keep going. So
that's what's most important. So yeah, we'll see. It'll be a battle, but he does bring some experience that I do like. Someone asked the question about. I actually just saw it and I moved on accident, so that's my bad. Someone asked, are the Gendro twins on campus yet? Have you not been following us? You haven't been hanging out with us, have you? Here you go. That's them at the top. Yeah. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and the bell notifications. I don't know if you have confirmed that you're subscribed to the channel. We've talked about them a few times. So I got to tease you for that question. But yes, they are here. There you go at the top. That's them on move-in day.
They're in the gym right now, most likely.
Oh, yeah, they're lifting. All of them are. Shoot, they all get hard. They're putting in work in the gym itself. And then, of course, you have this one, which I love these. They're goofy. These are very goofy, but I thoroughly enjoy them. Are these first day of school. So there you go. My first day at OU, top left corner is one of the twins.
Good.
They're always good. They're goofy, but I like stuff like that. And I think that's more so about a parent, being a parent, right? I like the goofy little stuff like that. But yeah, twins are here. A lot of the players that y'all are looking for are definitely in town. Good questions here.
By the way, Bishop Thomas will be a redshirt senior, so this will be 1 year.
He has 1 year left of eligibility. Yes, I thank you for mentioning that. I actually just found the article on him. He brings in 1 more year. So Bishop will probably rotate with probably Jaden Jackson, most likely. And I think Nigel Smith is going to be fighting with Kenny Ozuwalu for the spot right behind David Stone. Then that means gives you time to get Trent Wilson up and running, get Brian Harris, Carrington. Yeah, you'll be able to get those guys really acclimated to how we want to do things. You may be able to go even deeper. That would be a plus. Like, beginning of the season, UTEP, we'll probably rotate a lot of the young freshmen should get some run, especially if they're at weight. Jacob Henry should get some run too. It's my expectation when it comes to that. Sean asks, do you think Hansen will end up being the starter at tight end? Yeah, Hayden Hansen's your starting tight end, period. I have zero doubt about him being the starting tight end, specifically because he's got so many snaps, and he was really solid at Florida. Florida players didn't like him because they didn't feel like he was able to contribute enough in the offense. And when I talked to my guy over at Locked On Gators, he was like, that wasn't a function of Hayden Hansen. That was a function of the way the offense was ran.
And the quarterback.
Yeah. Well, not even that. Not even that. It was just a function of how the offense was ran. They didn't have Hayden Hansen running down the field. They had him really in the flats and shorter passes. Mm-hmm. And that's why you saw DJ Lagway throw it deep all the time to Dallas Wilson, in which he was making his catches. The focal point wasn't tight end or whatnot. Yeah, but if you throw it in his area, right close to his hands, and he's 6'8", so you got a lot of space, He's going to make the catch, but he's probably going to be a safety net guy, and he's a really good blocker. That's why that Jaden Ball was so darn good at running. Not only was the line solid, but you had good tight end blocking. And to me, that's where you're going to probably get him to start. I think Rocky Beers gets some run, but I don't think he starts. I think he does rotate as a second tight end there as well. Senior Bowl, there's been some things pointed out here. Jimmy points this out. Yes, Jaden Ott is dominating right now, I've been seeing in these practices, much to the dismay of Sooner fans. I'm just going to tell y'all right now, just,
he's fresh. He's got fresh legs.
Fresh legs. The other thing is, hey, man, it just did not work out. Unfortunately, it did not work out. But, yeah, he looks good, which means he's going to get drafted and he's going to be accounted for as another Oklahoma running back in the NFL. Just sucks that we didn't get to see that ourselves. Game's the game, right?
I still think there's going to be GMs who are going to have those conversations with him. What happened? Like,
they're going to ask if he's healthy.
Yeah. They're going to say what happened, and there's going to be conversations that have, and I think that the coaching staff, based on like what you just said, coaching staff doesn't want any, they're not going to hold anything over his head or anything like that.
Nope.
They're going to say, things just didn't click, didn't work out. The running backs are undervalued. They're going to continue. So, I think a team can pick him up in the 5th, 6th round, and that's going to be a damn steal if he's all in.
Yeah.
And
if he's all in, yeah.
This is a dude that the Kansas City Chiefs usually pick up and then turn him into
an all-pro running back. Because he's in the system, it just works out perfectly for him. Yeah. Or you send him up there to New England to the Patriots and have him right there with Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah. That's the crap you're probably going to see. I know some people are upset about it. I don't care. You win some, you lose some in the portal. The game's the game. So, yeah, I ain't tripping. But what I am happy about is our boy here beating the crap out of everybody is Grayson Halton. He been cooking. And that's literally all we've been hearing about is Grayson Halton and how good he's been.
He's doing the stuff that he did well here, but then you start seeing some of the comments. Like there was one where it said it was him and another guy that basically they were trying to rub off and get him handled so that they could move to the next level because that's where the play was designed to explode. And G-Baby wasn't having it. So I think I'm going to try to get his pops on for a parent interview and just now that it's done. And so his pops is an entertaining fella. So we'll, that'll be a good one that you don't want to miss. But, we got some, some more defensive linemen that are going to start hitting. This is, you got R. Mason and G-Baby. Don Williams. Those are guys that are, I think all three are going to get drafted. So Don Williams is the only one, but if he shows out and, the kind of anchor that he's going to be, like teams are going to want to have that defensive tackle that just takes up space. And you're starting to see guys like Jonah Lalau. He was coached really, really well in his finals here. And now he's one of the best defensive linemen on the Raiders. You gotta be pretty happy for G-Baby because this is a guy who there were times early that he wasn't getting it. Maybe he didn't have the maturity. I think he's made himself a day 2 guy right now, just based off of these practices.
Yeah, he's very much beloved right now at senior day. He's getting sacks in plays. He's finding ways around players. He's criminally underrated. And we've talked about that here. And it's funny you talk about his dad. Yeah, Dad's hilarious. I saw him at a game and he's like, yeah, I watch you all the time. He's like, I don't understand. Why you always looking to the side when you be on there talking? Like, I don't understand that. And I'm like, Pops, I'm the one producing everything in the background with the videos and graphics. He's like, oh, okay. Oh, all right. I'll let you slide this time. I'm just
Yeah.
cracking up. I'm like, it ain't. Yeah, I'm not ignoring Coop while he's talking. I'm not ignoring John. I'm adding I'm usually adding enhancements to the show while we're going. So we like to do a little extra here. We do a little
And
bit more here to compare it to the competition.
and this damn thing keeps going off the entire time that we're on show because people trying to text us and say, "Oh, hey, yeah, here this is when this guy's going to commit, and this is you looks to be the leader." And so it's distracting. It is distracting.
It can be. I mean, my phone's usually upside down, and I have it on D&D mode, so I usually
D&D.
don't. I don't get the messages like Coop does because Coop is way more important to me. I just get a whole bunch of where's Coop messages, but no, G baby balling. Marvin Jones Jr. was also putting in work. Like,
Yeah,
he looked like he really, you can tell that where Chavis came in there to help him.
yeah,
You can tell. There was so much excitement that I've heard from people, seeing people talk about him on at the Senior Bowl. Like people are like, oh, I think he has a chance of jumping up a lot further than you think. And I was like, oh,
and I forget about Marvin. I mean, he looks healthy. He looks like he has got a spring in his step, and he looks like
this drill was nice.
He looks like he really prepared for this very, very well. So again, that's another guy. So if you can get 4 defensive linemen drafted, I mean, we looked at what 27 looks like. If David Stone and Jaden Jackson get slated as first round draft picks, you're going to have somebody that is willing to get in the transfer portal to come and let Todd Bates, coach him up. You also throw in potentially Taylor, for Taylor Wine next year. So, I mean, that's 3 more guys along the defensive line that are going to be in the NFL. So if you put 7 guys on the defensive line in the NFL this year and next year, that's where you start seeing more of the 5-star like David Stone pop up. David Stone is a Sooner because he was an Oklahoma guy. We won the battle with Jaden Jackson. They developed that great relationship, but you're going to start seeing those things kind of pop through because 7 guys in 2 years would be pretty impressive.
Heck yeah. And that just, it's a testament to how well this staff works and how well this staff does with not only recruiting, but also developing players. So truth be told, I think we can expect more players to get drafted. There's some questions around any first or second rounders. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. Boomer Center 129. I don't know. I think R. Mason Thomas was mocked to the first round a few times in a few different mocks. And most of the consistent ones, I guess the average I've seen him is around like 40 to 50. Yeah. So I anticipate him to be around 60. G-Baby, top 100 is what I've seen. So there's a possibility second round for him, maybe third. Marvin Jones is probably going to be a late rounder, even though he has the measurables to go earlier. Somebody may actually take a flyer on him early. Yeah, I think that's really it, if I'm really thinking about it.
Yeah,
who else left that had that
Robert,
could be? Robert Spears Jennings is probably late day 2, day 3 guy.
Yeah. That's what I feel. Going into this one, what sucks is, again, Gentry Williams' injury history, because he was being slated as a first round type of a guy.
He really was
2 years ago, and hopefully he can go stay healthy and put good film out there. And because I think that he's a guy on Monday Night Football probably is going to rotate in and out from Boomer Sooner and the final resting place there. But I don't think we'll see a first round guy unless. It takes one. It takes one person to draft you. There's, if you have, what are we going to have? The Seahawks and the Patriots back in the Super Bowl. Well, I can promise you this: the Patriots, or Mason Thomas, would be a good Patriot. I think he'd be a really, really good Patriot. You saw also down there with, Los Angeles, the Rams. They're going to need defensive line. So if you can get one of those situations, that's great.
That's a good spot. that's a good spot that you would love to get your hands on and check out. So next question that popped in, which is a good one. Hey, gents, I may have missed it, but what's the word on Coach Jay Valai? Appreciate you. Well, we're going to jump into that. Before we do that, though, we're going to shout out our partners there at Sleep. We're going to make a couple of picks. If you ain't checked them out for Daily Fantasy Ball, I told y'all, man, y'all missing out. One thing that I also have used them for as well is they're more than just season-long fantasy. They're more than just daily fantasy because I've gotten updates and notifications about the transfer portal, coaching changes, NFL, NBA, you name it, anything you would subscribe to. They've got a lot of that stuff. And today, use our promo code UNFAIR. They will match your first deposit at 100% up to $100. And one of the things you do get out of them is they've got promos going on in the daily fantasy stuff. Like right now, college basketball, 100% boost on 5+ more. If you know this game, jump into it. Same thing with NBA. 3+ on the NBA, you get a 40% boost. So we're going to do that. We're going to look at some of these NBA games. But Thunder's not playing, unfortunately. But I'm darn sure going to take a little bit. See, they won't let me take Wembanyama because he's that other promo. But darn sure going to take Kevin Durant. I'll take Victor getting a double-double because that's just what Victor does. Give me some Amin Thomas. I'm going to do less on the 13.5 because that's just how I feel right now. Alfred Sengun, he's probably, we going to touch him because I can't leverage him on the promo. But LaMelo Ball, he's been balling. He's going to be fun. Same thing with Anthony Edwards. Pick 2 or more players on that promo, 3 or more or less on the stats. And, turn this game day into payday. Use the promo code UNFAIR. They'll match your first deposit 100% up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Thank you all for pulling up. Hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review. Give us 5 stars. Coop, the boards, the interwebs. I actually think there was a post about this not too long ago flying around. But one of our beloved coaches is being poached. It appears that Jay Valai, our DB coach, is getting phone calls right now from one school, Notre Dame, to potentially become a coach. Now, they are vetting a lot of coaches right now, so there's not like an answer completely. But Mike Mickens, the former DB coach there, I think he went to the NFL, if I'm correct. Yeah, he went to the Ravens. He's headed to the Ravens, and because of that, they now have a DB coach position open. Well, some of the folks within the court pointed something out that I didn't realize with Valai in this situation. Notre Dame's defensive coordinator is Chris Ash. He was the DB coach at Wisconsin when Jay Valai was a DB there, a safety there, actually. So they have a relationship. And I know Jay Valai has aspirations to be a defensive coordinator one day. Yeah. This may be his best opportunity to get a chance to actually coordinate. So, do I think he takes the job? If it happens, yeah, I'm going to say yes. I think that he may take the job to be able to become a DC. Do I think it hurts us? No. So I think Jay Valai is phenomenal in his recruiting, but I know he had some great people around him, and I think we'll be fine. Coop, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably line up directly with you on that one. I don't want to see Jay Valai leave. He has he's moved quite a bit. Right now, I would assume Notre Dame's probably tossing out co-defensive coordinator type of titles for him. Passing game, defensive coordinator, whatever. There's going to be some kind of a title. I don't think that Valai is going to just take a direct parallel move. He's not going to just go to Notre Dame to have the exact same spot that he has here. So they're going to have to promise him, which obviously comes with a little bit more money. So I don't know what the former coach was making, but we'd hope to see it. Jay Valai has done a great job, and we've had great defensive backs coming in here. You see the progression of guys like Eli Bowen. You see, Jacoby Johnson has progressed. So yeah, I mean, you got to hope that he does stick around. But if he does leave, I know that we're going to get somebody else there. I think this staff is great as a whole. But if he wants to be here, he'll be here.
Exactly. And to answer the question, Jimmy, he can't take anybody with him because the portal's closed.
Yeah.
The only time the portal opens is if your head coach leaves. Didn't say anything about position coaches. So there'll be no way for nobody to go anywhere this year. If they decide to follow him next year, well, power to you. We may have another DB coach in that we bring in that takes over and brings in talent with them as well, possibly. But yeah, there's no opening for anybody to be able to go anywhere because without a without the head coach leaving, coordinators can leave all they want, position coaches can leave all they want. That doesn't open the portal for them. The only thing the portal opens for is head coaches, and that's for termination or taking other jobs. So yeah, if Valai goes, I'll drop a thug tier because we appreciate his contributions and what he did here. But do I think it changes anything? No. So, yeah. That's kind of my thoughts on Valai. Now, if we go big board, there's more to talk about when it comes to big board there, if we want to look at other people. But I do know that the Board of Regents do meet to, what's today? The 28th. So tomorrow, the 29th. They meet the 29th and the 30th. And that is where you're going to see a lot of contract changes. And it appears that we are actually going to be busy on that front. Looking at it, George Stoya, shout out to him over there at Scoop, points out on this. Let me pull this up for y'all to look at. It's really boring, and it's not fun to look at. I'm just going to tell y'all right now, so don't get all, excited about seeing this legal document. So yeah, there is a lot of names that's going to be populating. So contracts is going to be on there. Jason Witten's will be on there. So we'll wait to see his approval and we'll find out what he's going to quote unquote make. Bates and Beatonbow are up, as well as Miguel Chavis, Doug Deacon, Nate Dreiling. Sounds like he's going to get some changes to his as well. Brandon Hall, Emmett Jones, which his contract actually ends on the 31st. So it looks like his extension will be happening. Kuzieski and Valai. All of them will get updated contracts. Thank goodness. Bless you. So all of those will be ready for new extensions or additional extensions. Like Dreiling was, I think he had a 2-year deal, and I thought he was the 27, but they may actually extend him out even more, add him an additional year because of how well he's done with these linebackers and find a way to hang on to him. Maybe give him a additional title. Somebody mentioned they wondered if Wes Goodwin would be one that could potentially leave. And I don't see Wes taking another job for another year if he decides to leave. And I say that because when he was fired from Clemson without cause, they owe him $3.1 million. So he's getting 1.5 last year. He got 1.3 last year instead of the full 1.5 because we were paying him 200. And he's got his 1.5 coming instead of the 1.6. He has his 1.4 coming this year because we're paying him 200. So there's no reason whatsoever or whatnot. But so Robert, no, there is no portal. There's no opening a new portal. That rule's not going to happen. Good luck. Players can try that. They can try to sue. That's a guaranteed loss in the courts. They're not winning that one.
You're starting to see the guys that trying to bounce out. Like these teams are saying, no, screw this. We're done with this mess. Like that's going to happen. I mean, you're going to have somebody who hops in the portal, but I would also point out too, that you've got a sophomore and let's see here, the starting defensive backs, a freshman, Dallas Golden was a freshman, and Leonard Moore, who led the team with 5 interceptions, I think. Those guys are young. So, I mean, if you're going to follow Valai to be a backup somewhere else, like you're not taking a starting job. And I don't think that Eli Bowen's going to leave. Cortland Gilroy, he's not leaving. So yeah, nobody's leaving. Yeah,
I don't think any of the players are going anywhere. They're starting corners. No reason for anybody to actually try to think about bouncing or whatnot, right? So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm ready to see what Roger Denny gets and the title changes and everything. But there's also another staff member that's being added in from Illinois on the strength side. Did you see that, Coop?
Yeah.
I gotta figure out the name.
Oh, I just added up.
I literally just had the name, and I completely didn't deleted it a minute ago on accident. That was 100% an accident on my part, but it sounds like we're bringing in some more strength coaches.
Yeah.
On James Dobson's staff, and I think Roger Denny kind of helped with bringing somebody in from Illinois, and we'll see what that looks like. But I think the one fun thing that we need to dive into now is recruiting, because Coop, I'm gonna say this. I don't know if you remember this, but we still, in the regular season, own an ownership stake in the state of Alabama. Still got it. Bama's chipping away at it. They chipped away at it with the win in the playoffs to where they could get some of their ownership back. Well, we still own a lot of that, though, right?
Yes.
Recruiting sounds like that is all but confirmed still. So let's talk about that. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe. If you're listening on the audio version, survive as well, because it is cold. Rate, review, give us 5 stars. Predictions have gone in for some players, Coop.
This class has got the chance of being pretty special.
Yep. So, for the uninitiated, the staff is right now in Alabama for the Senior Bowl, which is perfect, right? That means they're going to go see some people.
There's
right.
There's a couple Bama kids too that guys that reside in Alabama that
2 players in Mobile, Alabama that we decided to go visit. That it sounds like we've got ourselves a nice in on. One is the quarterback, Jameson Roberts. Sounds like he's right there at the cusp of making a change. Or making a decision, and it sounds like Oklahoma has a good shot of snatching him up. He's number 1 on the list, but he ain't the only one, because along with him, you have a couple of predictions that went in from Sam Spiegelman as well as Chad Simmons from On 3 for the safety Jalen Scott, 4-star top 160 player in the country. Everybody's putting in predictions that Oklahoma's going to win this recruiting battle. How you feel about this kid, Coop?
Well, let's start with Scott. I mean, this is a name that they've been after for quite a long time. Typically when you see some of the bigger guys like Spiegelman go in, we've mentioned this before. Like, you're going to have the national guys, and then you're going to have more like the regional guys, like a Josh McCuistion, who's going to cover more stuff, for Oklahoma. So if it's a battle, somewhere around there, you just continue. It's continue to stack in safeties. 6 foot tall, 160 pounds. He's still a little on the slight and light side. I think he
hits people like
right
there. He hits people.
Right there,
he hit people, Coop.
Is where you go. Weight is just a number, just like the age, right? But dude is pretty athletic. Again, he's probably 17 years old, so he's still going to have some. He's physical. He just hits the shit out of people. So
yeah,
I'm pretty excited about him. I can't remember what number in what is his ranking.
He is a 4-star top 100, and he's 151st in Rivals industry rankings. I think 247 has him as a top 153. So he's a top 16 safety, top 100 base top 200 player in the country. Can't beat that. ESPN has him rated at top 200 as well, 183. So yeah, he's a pretty highly rated kid. He's one that's beloved. He can thump.
He can thump.
That's what it is.
And he's going to continue to rise because I'm guessing that, by the time he would get here, you're looking 175, 180, something like that. Like you need to get some weight on the boy still. He probably can still grow a little bit too. But, he looks like Ed Reed as a ball hawk, but Sean Taylor as a hitter. Like he just looks like he can absolutely flat out play. And so Coach Hall just he knows what he wants, and his evals have been pretty spot on.
He's the only one I don't question, really. I really don't question what Hall wants. Like I'm ready to see Ford. I'm ready to see what Markel Ford's going to look like to go along with everybody else. I mean, you see Powers, you see Boganowski, Man. You see the players. You're like, okay, these guys going to be some dudes. This is another one that I think you add him to the list. Yeah. Oklahoma knew what they were doing chasing this one. They knew exactly what they were doing chasing that one. And then, of course, Jameson Roberts, tall quarterback. Like when I looked at the picture of him, because I don't know if y'all realize this, but Ben Arbuckle's tall. Like, he's a legitimate 6'4" quarterback. Jameson's right there by him. And he's taller than BV. And BV, I think, is 6'1", 6'2". So he's about 6'3"-ish. Actually, I think Ben maybe 6'5". Now, think about it. So he's tall. We haven't had a really tall quarterback since... who?
Landry?
Probably.
I mean, Landry, I think he was listed at 6'3". I would be surprised if he wasn't
taller.
I can't remember.
Let me see. I'm gonna go look. Landry Jones. Landry is listed as 6 foot. I'm 6'4". He's listed as 6'4". So he's the tallest one we've had since Sam Bradford probably.
Yeah.
Everybody else was short. Like Jalen. Same thing with Kyler, Hurts. Let's say Hurts, Baker. Caleb was 6'1", 6'2". Still shorter. We haven't had a 6'4" dude.
Rattler was like 6. Yeah, no, I mean, he's a big guy. Now,
his tallest.
Being tall doesn't mean anything. I mean, if you are an old head, you got dudes who fell out of trucks, Brent Rawls, Tommy Grady. We had a lot of big, tall guys that just...
Bomar.
Bomar. I think Bomar was only 6'1", 6'2". I think he was
sworn he was a taller dude. I could have sworn, but you might be right.
But
I'm curious. Let me look him up. I'm really curious to how tall he is. The former
Big Red Sports and Imports employee.
6'2", 6'2", 2 1/4 is what the NFL had him listed as. I trust that. It's
not 5'9".
No, it's not 5'9". The NFL actually put that out. I kind of feel bad for Diego Pavi on that, but I mean,
no,
you put on cleats.
If
he's 5'11".
Well, shit. If I wear stilts, I'm 7 foot tall.
Fair.
I'm just saying, when you make yourself a spectacle and you're abrasive, stuff like this happens. You got to eat it. I mean, you got to sit there and you got to eat your blank sandwich because you helped mayo the bread up. So I mean,
I disagree. He ain't done. He ain't saying anything about his height. He's go out there and play football.
No. I'm just saying he was loud about who he was and how great he was. Now, I don't think people should just be bombing all over him. And dude's still probably going to make an NFL team.
Unfortunately, he'll make one. I mean, at his height, it's going to be a struggle for him to stick around. I think for me is, though, he did finish second in the Heisman. So it's not much. I mean, I could clown him and say, yeah, you're 5'9". He did finish second in the Heisman voting. That's my point, right?
He made more money this year than I've ever made in a year. So
yeah, he balled out. Yeah, I'll give him that. But you're right? It's yeah. People gonna clown you, bro. You just got to remind them. Well, I mean, second in the Heisman is all you got. But it's funny that everybody's heights are always embellished until they actually get there, except for like defensive players. It feels like they're the ones that aren't really, especially defensive line. They feel like they're the only ones true to height. I don't get
sometimes maybe at the height, yeah. Like I still remember, I think Calais Campbell was listed at Miami. I think he was listed at something like 6'5", and then he goes to the damn combine. He's like 6'8", and I remember just going, "What?" And I mean, dude is just an absolute just monster. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like if your quarterback says 6'3", he's probably 6'2" or 6'1" and 5/8 or something like that. And if they're listing him at 6 foot tall in college, you know he ain't 6 foot tall.
No, not at all. Not at all. You know what else I've seen too? I've also seen is funny. The conspiracy theories around Kevin Durant. Like people are trying to say that he's like legit 7'1" and the NBA is hiding it. So they're just going to list him as 6'9", and then
6'11".
he towers. Yeah. He towers over all these players, or he's like standing neck and neck with like Dwight Howard, or he's standing back next to Shaq. They try to make sure they don't stand too close to give it away. And I'm just cracking up, and I'm like, but you might be right. I think he may actually be that tall. I've actually heard Wemby's taller than what they got him listed. They just try not to scare people. And I'm just like, but that would be weird though. If you find out that Wemby is literally 7'8", that would be weird. Now that I think about it more.
I mean, he grew. He grew this past year.
He had to have, dog. He's huge. But Calais Campbell, that's a funny story. That is, think about that. Good Lord. 6'8"? Horrifying.
It's, I mean, what do they have him? Yeah, 6'8", 315.
Jeez. It feels like he would be thin too at 315 because he's 6'8", but at the same time, looking at Marion Harris, he's 6'7", and he's 300 and some change, and he looks like he's a ginormous dude. Kenny Ozawalu,
Kenny got a damn six pack. For a defensive tackle with a six-pack. For a defensive tackle,
it's terrifying.
That's like, what's his name? Who just retired from the
Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Like, you're a Terminator. You're not a football player. You're a gosh darn Terminator. So, but I mean,
legitimately,
it's. I mean, poor Diego. Just.
It's so funny. It's just hilarious. It's funny. Like, we're gonna laugh at it because it's hilarious. It's a very hilarious thing with that. But okay, I think that's really it. That to really dive into.
Let's kind of talking about the 27 class. I think that there's a really good chance. You're not going to end up with a 5-star quarterback. I think that most of the big quarterbacks are already taken. You're going after a guy who you want. You've got Cooper Hackett as a 5-star. Caden Penny, he just got an offer from Georgia, where I don't think I don't think he's going anywhere, and I think that's obviously just something for him to talk about. I'm still not sure Caden Penny's the better offensive lineman. I think Cooper Hackett's got the better ceiling, but I think Caden Penny would be the first one to start. When they make it to campus. You've got so many other guys on here that I think that you're going to see as risers, plus the way that Nagy's been really looking at these things. I would venture to say this class probably, with all the great evals, this is going to be a top 10 class, and with a good shot at a top 5 class. And I think could be the most productive class to come into OU in quite a long time. So the future is very, very bright. And then we mentioned at the beginning of the show, talking about if you can put 7 defensive linemen in the league over the next couple of years, you get back to putting some of these offensive linemen in here. You're starting to see more and more of these defenders who are higher in the rankings, look at OU. I think this class is going to be pretty damn special, Jay, because you're still yet to maybe get Case Alexander, Cooper Witten, who's the number 1 linebacker. You get Roberts, you get Scott. You're in on a lot of really, really good guys. And again, with 105, there's probably still people on the roster that will get voluntold to go take a look in the transfer portal next year. You're also going to lose a little bit more from some of the younger guys, becoming draft eligible like David Stone. So this is going to be a fun class to watch come in, and we could see in the year of 28. I think that we could see, a young, really, really, really hungry and very talented team on the field.
27 class is going to be interesting because it's basically a confirmation of negative recruiting got us in 26 because we had to prove ourselves. We did it here in 25 in the season. You get to the playoffs, and they're like, oh, okay, never mind. He shored up that defense and has continued to improve. And now 26, those guys are like, yeah, I want to get in on that because I think that I can be the difference maker. And here we are. This class is right now third on one side, first on another. Just depends on who you're looking at. And they're battling for some more. And that's kind of where the 27 team made me nervous, was because if we're going this heavy in on a lot of the top players, they're expecting depth to start to drop. But bringing in these players can shore up the depth, because nowadays you're going to get younger and younger with this in the 2 deep because of NIL. A lot of these backups know they can go start somewhere else. A lot of these freshmen aren't going to get that opportunity because it's cheaper to go in the portal, or go in the portal and get a guy for the same amount you're paying for a true freshman and get a dude that's got experience that can actually contribute right now. That, to me, is where you see the big difference in how NIL is going. And I think that that's a kind of a contributing to this 27 class. We're pointing out, hey, year 1, you might get to play because we do play freshmen, but there's a chance that, it may take about, you may come out there and play your redshirt freshman or sophomore year, but we'll get you on the field. And so I'm here for that. And we'll see a lot of changes. 28, massive refresh is my expectation. And that's when we'll probably be our youngest. Yeah. But the question is, who's all ready to contribute at that time? So, all right, let's wrap it up with a bow. And thank y'all, per the usual, pulling up, hanging out with us on this Wednesday night. Hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. We'll be back this weekend. We'll talk more winter workouts. As we know, dudes are hitting them weights. We'll probably get a whole bunch of updates over the next few days on who's doing what and who we need to prepare ourselves for. So, yeah, pull up. Make sure you verify that you're subscribed. Got some big stuff coming here in February, so keep your eyes open for that. And, yeah, me and Coop will see you all this weekend. Peace.